Happy Father's Day and welcome back to another Diablo 4 video. Now, players are not impressed by the loot from this event, and some players are even noticing a disparity in XP on some quests and not happy about it. Plus, an awesome work of art that I have to show today, and finally, some more casual complaints about streamers. We got some fun topics on this Father's Day, so let's begin. Alright, starting this thing off, check out this post. It has over 3,800 upvotes on the Reddit, and it reads, "Is it just me or are treasure goblins in Diablo 4 kind of lame now? I find treasure goblins really easy to kill in Diablo 4 compared to 3, and they never drop anything good. I'm not sure if I've had bad luck, but I usually just get a couple of mediocre yellows, a couple of gems, maybe a legendary item, 1 in 10. I think they need to up the loot tables on treasure goblins, also buff HP, make them more challenging and rewarding. A challenging loot pinata you can actually get excited when you spot one. Just my opinion." Now, for me personally, I don't really care about treasure goblins having buffed HP. I think it actually only serves to make early game much weaker if you buff treasure goblins HP, which I'm sure he's not really taking that into account. But I mean, I don't really think of them as something that should give you massive reward. I think that they should focus a lot of their efforts on maybe making the nightmare dungeons and the actual in-game content more important than maybe these random goblins that could give you good like loot or whatever. Now, on top of that, I don't recall goblins in Diablo 3 being hard at all, so I'm not sure what this guy's talking about. But nonetheless, what do you guys think about that? Now, there are a few responses I want to go over, and let's check it out from this one. The first post: "Agreed, they're underwhelming. They should offer a legendary and a small chance of a greed portal." Now, while I don't really agree with the OP overall, I would say I do think the greed portal would be really cool. I mean, I really like that in Diablo 3. That was one of the coolest things that was in Diablo 3 when you did find a goblin. I didn't actually care about the goblin dropping loot. I was actually more interested in the greed portal and stuff, which was cool. Now, I think the next response is actually more important, and the response was, "Most things and activities in the games are underwhelming. Grand boxes, world bosses, the only thing that felt rewarding were Helltide's mystery chests, and after doing a few rounds yesterday, I felt like they were nerfed about 50%. Party went from frequently getting 4 to 5 per box to 2 or 3 across the board." Now, this is actually, in my opinion, a more important thing to talk about, and yeah, I think overall most things are unrewarding in the game, besides maybe the Helltides, which they get kind of tedious for me. I don't really want to do Helltides all day. So I think I kind of agree with this guy to some extent, and like I said, I burn out really heavy whenever I do Helltides. I'll do it if I have a party, but 9 times out of 10, unless I'm trying to upgrade something, I kind of just ignore it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think the goblins should be more tankier and more rewarding, or do you think that they should put more effort into actual rewarding things like world bosses, in-game content? What do you guys think? Alright, on to the next post. Check this one out, over 1,000 upvotes. "Why do side quests give 19k XP when Legion events give 1.3 million XP? Now, I have made a video covering the Legion events because honestly, I think they are amazing at XP, great at opals, great at giving you gear, just really good overall, and you can be carried by players. But yeah, what's up with the XP here? Like, I did notice this. I was playing in the late game and I would do a side quest just to see how the XP was, because at some point I was like really desperate for XP, and I noticed that the XP was just garbage. And unfortunately, this is kind of the take, right? A lot of things in Diablo 4 is just doesn't make a lot of sense. I do feel like they put a lot of effort into actually making the game, but not doing the quality of life things, UI things, and like making things scale appropriately. And this is one of those classic cases of just something in the game not really making sense. But yeah, I don't really touch the side quests. They don't really make sense to me. I rather just do the dungeons and stuff and move on. Like when I actually level up a new character, I never do a side quest because they do not feel worth it to me in any capacity. Alright, shifting gears a little bit. Check out this amazing dice artwork I saw here on Twitter. It looks really cool, but yeah, I'll play the clip. Check it out. Now, one thing I'm really proud to do on my channel is showcase the art that players really put into like the work that they do when it comes to gaming. I think artists are very undervalued in the modern era, and you know, one thing I love doing is just showcasing stuff like this. But I know, again, this took a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of planning that I know I couldn't do. So yeah, really cool. Let me know what you guys think about this artwork. Alright, check out this thread, guys, and let me know if you agree with it or not. Don't be like streamers, normal people playing 4 hours a day. The game has a lot of content and I'm here for it. Streamers be like, after playing 300 hours in a week, I can say Diablo's in-game suck. Now for me, I don't think I agree with this guy, because the way I play a lot of hours in the game, and I come from games like Path of Exile that has a very in-depth in-game where once you get to mapping, that's only the start of the game. You have like delving, you had uber bosses, you have pretty much a lot of different things you can do in the game that revolved around what would be the nightmare dungeons of this game. And so for me, like, I understand where some of the streamers come from, but also from a casual perspective I get it too, because they haven't reached it. With that said, I kind of expected Diablo 4 not to have a ton of content at the launch, because I know that once the seasons roll out, they're gonna have like the Path of Exile thing where they increase more content and stuff like that. Now, regardless, check out this response, because I think this is actually a really great one. On one hand, I see what you're saying, but on the other, the min-maxers are really the ones that have reached the end game. So I feel like they're the group that has the most valid complaints towards the end game. Also, I've yet to see someone say that the Diablo 4 has no content, which is usually the complaint with people that grind out games. And I think this is true. I don't think most players who are in the super end game that's playing this much don't have a good grasp of the game. They understand that the game is not going to have the same amount of content that Path of Exile has. I actually think the more casual players that may have played a lot and gotten to the end game is saying that, not the ones that are like the big streamers. Like, you're not going to see Karn say, for example, or Zizarin or any of these players say Diablo 4 content at the end game is like not much, because they know going in that the game wasn't going to have comparable content to other games that's been out for a decade. Remember, the game's only been out for about 14 days as of making this video. Now, while I completely agree with this guy, I do want to go over the next comment, and this is from Jolly Bear. It's not that it doesn't have content, it's just that the majority of the content is not worth it because they give really crappy loot versus the time invested. Casual just won't ever care about that though. Most don't even know what good rewards are and won't get there. There's plenty of things to do for a new launch, but I don't feel incentivized to do any of it, so I just run nightmare dungeons. And I think this is probably the majority sentiment from players who kind of understand the game. It's not so much that, and the dev team, I'd like to point out, they kind of recognize this too. I see that in the campfire chat, which big kudos to them for recognizing the complaints and like making changes about it. But anyway, a lot of the players actually understand that a lot of the rewards are not good. It's not that we don't like the game, it's just like, why would I go do the world boss when I can just go slam out nightmare dungeons and get pretty decent loot? I'll get really crappy experience, but I could get decent loot at the upper end, right? And I think that's where most players are coming from. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think streamers are thinking that the game is bad or the end game sucks? I think most people I've watched actually really like the game and think it has a lot of potential. So now, as I say in pretty much every video, I'm going to read out a handful of comments. So go ahead and leave some comments down below. I have a few I want to pick out from the last video because some of them was pretty funny. Check this one out. One thing I don't see many people talking about is how horrible the horse is. Clip a blade of grass, your horse slows or stops. Hover your pointer over parts of the AI and your horse slows down and stops. He just goes into examples. The horse is horrible, and I kind of agree with this one. And a lot of people don't talk about it, but if you watch me stream, I say this every time I ride a horse. Man, this horse is so terrible. He gets stuck on literally anything. And to add to this comment, I want to say the barricades on the map with the two skeletons shooting an arrow at you, like, please get that garbage out of the game. I'm happy with immersion. I think there's a healthy place where you can be immersed in the world. But I can assure you, most players do not want to just get off their horse, wait for a 20-second cooldown or whatever it is, it's probably 10, and hit a wall just to continue to go to where they're trying to go. Like, the horse riding, this whole meme is not very good. But yeah, I agree with you on this one. The horse is so terrible. They really need to fix it. And I hear it's worse on controller. Now, on to the next comment. Why do you need so many stash tabs? Nightmare sigils? A whole tab? Why? Create new ones, they aren't unique. For this question, I want to be honest, I have multiple characters. I have like 4 different characters right now, and believe it or not, if you didn't notice it, because you may be playing only one character, all your stash tabs is shared between all your characters. So let's say you want to make a blood build for your necromancer and a minion build for your necromancer, and then you want to do a twisting blades for your rogue, and then you want to do some barrage for your rogue, and then a barbarian build or whatever build, you will actually run out of stash tabs. Now you also need to store your gems, because believe it or not, you need to put gems on each of your pieces of armor if you're building characters, because I make content on YouTube, I make builds, that's kind of what I do. And then, you know, you have to add in the aspects as well that require space. And then, you know, all the sigils. Now, you don't have to put the sigils in, but I can assure you, without the sigils, I still will not have enough stash tabs for any characters that I make. I don't play this game casually. I actually play quite a bit because it's part of my job. But to answer your question, why do I need more stash? Is because I play more than one character, and they actually are shared. On to this next one from Star of Eden, and this one is a direct response, if I had to say, to the last comment. Absolutely, the 4 stash tabs is trash. It's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in a modern game. It's a shame, really. New World, the game, has the most stash tabs I've ever seen in my life. Now, personally, I do not take that as a positive thing, because New World is, while I love the game and I thought it had a lot of potential, New World is kind of meh. And if New World is beating you in something, I think you really need to reevaluate your game. So yeah, great comment, Star. This is absolutely true. 4 stash tabs is horrendous. Path of Exile gives you that more than that on a free account, I think, or something like that. I could be a little bit off because I haven't had a free account in Path of Exile in like, I don't know, 5 years, but I'm pretty sure you get more than 4 stash tabs. So yeah, pretty bad Diablo. Alright, there you have it, guys. That is it for today's video. We have some pretty interesting stuff. Again, happy Father's Day to all my gamer dads out there. I know you have 20 jobs, 3 kids, and only 20 seconds to play Diablo 4, but yet able to write an entire post on Reddit every single day. Rooting for you guys, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Later.